Hello.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to So You Think You're Iconic, the movie podcast where we watch movies that take 3 hours to write notes on.
We always pick movies that, in theory, are very good, but writing notes for is
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
not the greatest.
I've come to the realization I will never do Inception. Not
Yeah.
never. It's
Yeah.
not happening.
Yeah. Anything with more than one storyline going on at one time.
Yep.
Sorry, but we just can't.
I can't.
It's so hard to write notes for stuff like that.
When I had been writing notes for an hour and I was only like 30 minutes into the movie, that's when I knew. I was
Yeah.
like, oh no, I made a
Yeah.
mistake.
Yeah. And this movie isn't even on the level of Inception, so
No, it's not.
it's not.
Oh goodness. Okay. How was your week, Kelly?
It was long. It wasn't the greatest, but I think the highlight was clowning everybody on Instagram for thinking that I had botched my own
Butchered your
haircut.
hair? Yes. I was ready to clown you
Yeah,
today.
he was so ready to clown me. I posted on my Instagram that I was going to cut my hair, and then when I was done, I posted a picture of my hair super short because my hair is pretty long, and then it was really short in the picture. And
Yeah, she was rocking the Lord Farquaad. I was
yeah,
ready to.
yeah,
I had already started making fun of her, but it was going to be even worse.
yeah. He straight up just sent me a bunch of Lord Farquaad gifts and stuff, and he's all like, "This you?" And I'm like, "No, it's not."
Yeah, I was actually kind of upset when it wasn't true.
So mean.
I was gonna make fun of the fact that you're in your middle 20s now, and then I
Yeah.
would have been like, she's going through a midlife crisis, y'all.
Yep. I had a breakdown. I cut my hair really short. I don't know who I am. I cry at 2 a.m.
I mean, same, but for very different reasons.
Yeah. I mean, and also the weather has been really nice this week, so that's
Rose.
been really
Oh my
nice.
gosh, it was so hot yesterday.
It was so hot. Like I wasn't expecting it to be as hot as it was yesterday, but also the allergies are killing me right now.
Oh, I'm actually fine.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, I'm doing good. So Sabrina and I went to play mini golf yesterday.
Oh yeah. How
We
was that?
finished we finished in like 20 minutes.
No way, really?
Yeah, we we made it to the last hole. We were like, wait, this says 18. We were like, what? Like
And
we've been
you did all the holes, right?
yeah, we were like, did we miss something? And so we went back and we checked the last hole we did, and it said 17. I was like, oh my god, how did we do that?
Yeah, how did you do that? That was so quick.
I have no idea how that happened. But we were like, okay, I guess we're done.
Yeah, I guess we're done. Sheesh.
But on the bright side, we went to Sonic after, and I
Let's
introduced her
go.
to the Big Scoop cookie dough blast.
Yay.
We literally sat there for 20 minutes, like in silence, just eating it. It was delicious.
I
But yeah,
mean,
but yeah, and then we were out in Vacaville, and it was like 90 degrees outside.
oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, it wasn't as hot here, but it was close to 90 yesterday. And I'm like,
It's pretty. It looks cloudy outside today, so I don't think it's going to be as hot. It's only 54 degrees right now.
oh, we're going to be like high 70s today.
We're going to be in the 60s. Okay, so the heat is gone.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
going.
But I need everyone to pray for me because it's my cousin Brandy's birthday on Friday.
Oof.
And Brandy is the one who made me drink that giant mimosa. She didn't make me, but
But she was there.
no, she did make me because I got to a point where I wanted to quit, and she was like, "No, finish it." So yeah, she did. Her birthday's on Friday, and then I texted her like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, "Your birthday is this month, right?" Because I'm terrible at remembering birthdays.
Mm-hmm.
It it took me like 15 years to remember my mother's birthday, so I'm bad at it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, if you ever get a birthday text on your birthday, it's a miracle.
Yeah, it's a miracle. So she was like, yeah, it's on the 23rd. I was like, cool. She was like, we're going out and you're staying over. And I was like, oh no.
No.
Oh no. Oh no.
That's a sign of how things will be going.
Yeah. But she might think I'm staying over.
Mm.
I drove myself home throwing up last time and I
Yeah,
still
you
went
did. You still
home.
went home. Nothing is stopping Jordan from going
Nothing is
home.
stopping me from going home. Okay?
Just know at the end of the night, whenever that is,
Yeah.
he'll be going home.
Eventually I will sober up. And when I do, I'm going home.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's 4 o'clock in the freaking morning. I'm going home.
Yeah.
If I'm going to be sick the next morning, I'd rather be sick in my bed.
Yeah. The comfort of your own bed.
And thank God I went home because I would have been stuck at her house for 4 days. I had a hangover for
Oh
4
yeah.
days.
Oh yeah, you would have been messed up at somebody else's house.
Yeah. So yeah. But in good news, I started watching a new show on Hulu. It's not going to be a recommendation though because I haven't finished the first season, so I need to see how it goes.
Yeah.
But it has potential.
Okay.
It has potential. I'll come back next week and tell you how it goes.
Yeah, we'll be waiting.
Oh yeah. You'll hear about it if I can remember.
Okay.
I have the mind of a 70-year-old man.
Same.
That's why I can't remember people's birthdays. I came out of the womb like 50 years old. I do not remember stuff easily.
Yeah.
I am an old man.
Same. Like I will work on this skincare routine and look like I am 26 forever. I'm stopping aging at 26, like physically.
Okay.
But the rest of me, will be decrepit, but at least I'll look nice.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my mind already, but.
Yeah, I am borderline senile. So.
Yes.
I'm so sorry to whoever ends up with me. You're getting an Alzheimer's patient. I'm so sorry.
That's literally me. Yeah. No, my when I was rooming with one of my friends in college, I would literally, and it was just me, I would have sticky notes everywhere around the room.
Oh no, you're worse
so that I would remember things. There was a sticky note on the door, like right at my eye level, that said, "Don't forget your keys."
Oh no, I forget my keys all the time. So
yeah,
who am I to speak?
It was the keys, and it was like me halfway to class and remembering that half of my stuff is still back in my room, so I'd have to run back to my room.
For me, it's my wallet.
Is it?
I forget my wallet almost every day.
It's usually my keys or my phone.
Like if when I'm getting dressed, if I don't immediately put my wallet into my pocket while I'm getting dressed, I will forget it when I'm walking out, and then I'll drive off, and then I'll be like a block away and be like, fuck. And then have to go back. I can't be driving around without my license.
Yeah. The struggle. Oh,
speaking of struggles,
are you
ready to start talking about
and mental
illness?
Yeah, mental illness. Let's go.
Mental depreciation. Let's get into Shutter Island. So, this movie starts off in Boston Harbor in 1954. We're on a boat, and there's a man named Teddy Daniels, and he's puking his brains out like a sorority girl in Miami. He goes up on deck, and he meets his new partner, Chuck. They're both U.S. Marshals, and Chuck just transferred from the Seattle office. Chuck asks Teddy if he's married, and Teddy tells him that his wife died in an apartment fire. Yeah. Chuck then gives Teddy a cigarette because his are missing from his jacket. And the two walk around the mental institution. They're going Oh, they talk about the mental institution.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't read
I'm like,
either.
bro.
They talk about the mental institution they're going to on Shutter Island called Ashcliff.
Mm-hmm.
Before they get off the boat, the captain tells them that they need to hurry off because there's a storm coming and he wants to get out of the water.
Yeah.
So when they get on the island, they meet Deputy Warren McPherson, and he welcomes them to Shutter Island. When they arrive to the mental institution, they are given rules and told where everything is. Ward A is on the right.
Right. It's the male ward.
It's the male ward. Ward B is on the left. It's the women's facility. And Ward C is in an old Civil War fort, and it houses the most dangerous patients.
Mm-hmm.
And they are not allowed to go to Ward C without permission from McPherson and the head doctor, Mr. Dr. Colley. Ooh, I'm so sorry, doctor.
Demoted.
Almost called you Mr. I know you know how doctors love to be called doctor.
Yep.
And then they're also made to surrender their guns.
Which was, flag number 1.
Was it though? Because I could see them walking past a patient and the patient like steals the gun and starts shooting at everybody. So like I kind of understood that.
Yeah, like I do understand that. Like because, dangerous people, whatever. But at the same time, shouldn't they give you some kind of protection?
A taser or something.
Something. Also, at this point in the movie, why was the music so loud?
Wasn't it always loud?
No, but I feel like when immediately when they got onto the island and when they were going to the hospital, whatever music that they were playing, it was so loud.
Oh,
like I know it was
the violin song they played like every 30 minutes.
Yeah, like I don't know why, but it was so loud. And like I understand it's supposed to be dramatic, but I'm just like, bro, why is it so loud? Like
I didn't really
I had to
notice.
turn down my volume.
I kind of just tuned out whenever that song happened because it happened so many times. I was just like, yeah.
Yeah. Also, this is like a worse version of Alcatraz if you're having like trouble picturing this. This is just a bad version of Alcatraz.
I mean, is it? The facility looked nicer than Alcatraz does.
True, but like, middle of nowhere, middle of, water.
East Coast water.
Yeah, East
so
Coast
like
water.
Hurricanes, that's dumb. Why would you put...
Right, you're not just putting the patients in danger, you're putting yourself in danger at that point.
There's literally a hurricane in this movie.
Yeah, like that was not the best place to put this place.
At least on Alcatraz, they don't have to worry about hurricanes.
Right. Like the only thing you have to worry about is what? Fog,
and then shark-infested water, but like who's jumping in that water?
Who's jumping in that?
And then so while walking to Dr. Colley's office, McPherson explains that this mental institution takes patients that others cannot handle, and that intelligence agencies even consult Dr. Colley because he's such a great psychologist.
Mm-hmm.
And so they meet Dr. Colley, and he explains that a female patient named Rachel Solando escaped the night before, and that she is there because she drowned all 3 of her children and arranged them around the kitchen table and ate with their dead bodies before a neighbor came in and noticed.
Yep.
She had been doing this for a few days, apparently.
Yeah.
The smell.
She had time with them.
The smell.
Yeah.
I don't want to say crazy. Even for a mentally ill person, the smell must have been awful.
Yeah. Like you just have to imagine how far gone she was to be able to dissociate that hard.
Yeah.
And thinking that, not smelling what was happening to the bodies because they were in water first off. And it looked like a lake. So, stagnant water. That's not good.
No.
And then he made probably even the look of them.
Yeah.
After a few days, bodies are going to start decomposing.
Yeah. She was cray-cray.
Yes.
And then so she also insists that her children are not dead.
Yeah.
And the institution that she is in is her home. Like her cell is her home.
Yes.
and all of the workers and patients are her neighbors and postal workers and delivery drivers and stuff like
Yeah.
that. She is bonkers.
Yeah. Yeah. She is not on the same plane of existence as we are mentally.
Even some of those other patients seem to have some wits about them. She is gone.
Yeah,
Completely
like
gone.
she has just ignored the rest of the world, while some of the patients in there, you can see that they like understand
Yeah.
why they're in there and
Yeah.
like how their mental illness works, and so they're like, I understand why I'm here.
Yeah. One woman is like, yeah, I should not leave this place.
Yeah, she's just 100% straight up. She's like, yeah, this is the best place for me right
Yeah.
now.
For me and the world.
Yeah, and honestly, good on her
Good on
for
her.
recognizing that.
I love when people take accountability. I
Yes,
love it.
yes.
And so then Teddy has a flashback of multiple frozen people, including a young girl who is hugging her mother. And then he starts complaining of a headache, and so he's given an aspirin.
Yeah. At this point, I was just like, oh, so he got something.
Right? Something's going on there.
Yeah, he's got PTSD or some kind of anxiety going on.
Oh, he definitely has PTSD. I think any man who ever went to war has PTSD.
Yeah, I can accept that.
My grandfather has PTSD.
Yeah, so does my uncle. So
he won't admit it, but he has PTSD. Will he ever see a therapist? No. But he's my grandfather. What can I do about it? And it's also noticed that Rachel has seemed to just disappear because no one's found her on the island. Her shoes are still in her room.
Yeah.
Her door was locked
from the outside.
And her window is barred.
Yeah. There's no like forced entry out or anything. It looks perfectly fine.
And there was supposed to be orderlies sitting outside the hallway with the one exit out of the building.
And no one saw her.
Yeah. And while inspecting her cell, Teddy finds a note that says the law of 4, who is 67. Mm-hmm. And then after some teeth pulling, Teddy gets Dr. Colley to agree to have the staff question, and then goes out with McPherson to search for Rachel and notices that no one seems to be actually looking for her.
Yeah.
They're like sitting down, throwing rocks. Some people are just staring at the ocean. Like, he's like, what's going on here?
No one is taking this seriously.
No, there is
absolutely no one.
There's a missing woman on an island with no shoes, and no one seems to care.
Yeah, and mental instability.
Yeah.
No one cares.
No one.
And I love how like Colley is like correcting Teddy at every like instance. He says, what does he call him? Prisoner?
Yeah, prisoner.
Yeah. Like he's all like, no. They're called patients and we care for them. One of them goes missing. Whatever. Yeah. She'll be fine. She'll be fine.
I mean, it's an island. Where can she go?
Yeah, where can she go? We'll find her eventually.
She can go into the ocean and die. Like, that's where she can go.
Yeah, she can go to the ocean and die. She can harm one of you.
Fall off a cliff. Yeah. Like, so many things could happen.
So many things.
She could have snuck into the Sea Ward and be being murdered at any point. Like, let's do something about this.
Right.
And then so while they're looking outside, Teddy notices some caves, but is told there's no way she's down there because she can't reach it because there's poison ivy on the side of the cliffs, and she's not wearing any shoes. Yeah.
Also, the comment that he has, there's like a bunch of thorns down there the size of my dick. I'm like, so you just admitted your dick is small.
Have a very tiny dick. Got it, sir.
I'm like, nice. I don't know why you would think making that comparison was good.
In both girth and length, thorns are very short. So come on, dude.
Yes. Unless you're talking some like Sleeping Beauty, like huge ass thorns.
Right. And then they would be too big.
Yeah. And then you would need to be seeking medical help.
Took one too many Viagras.
Yeah, one too many. Something is not right down there.
And then Teddy asks about a lighthouse on the island and is told it's already been searched and that it's just a water treatment facility. But there's like, it's like guarded and there's a fence around it. And he's like, okay.
The most well-protected water treatment facility on Earth.
Yeah, and it's pretty much on its own, like, separate island.
Yeah, it is.
It's weird. We'll get into it.
You will.
While questioning the staff, the two find out that one orderly named Glenn left his station to go to the bathroom. And then while trying to retrace Rachel's day, a nurse tells him that her doctor for her therapy session with Dr. Sheehan left that morning.
Conveniently.
Yeah, like the day they came in, he somehow left earlier. And then they try to call him and cannot reach him because there's a storm going on. Later that night, Dr. Colley invites Chuck and Teddy to his home to have a drink and smoke cigars. Dr. Colley is playing a song by Mahler that Teddy recognizes, and then it gives him another flashback.
Yeah.
And he's in
Poor Teddy is just like triggered.
Triggered by everything.
Everything.
He is in this flashback. He is in what looks like a Jewish concentration camp. And he's walking into a room. And then that's it. After that, he walks into what looks like a living room, a social gathering room, and he meets Dr. Jeremiah Nearing. Is that how you pronounce it?
Nearing? I heard Nearing.
Nearing.
Like the spelling is odd.
The person who said it had a British accent. So while speaking to Dr. Nearing, Teddy has a vision of an apartment with papers flying around and a dying Nazi soldier on the floor. And then Teddy and the other soldiers are looking through things. And then he looks outside and sees the frozen bodies from the flashback before. And then he watches the Nazi soldier die.
Yes.
Very weird flashback.
Very weird flashback. We never know if they're connected or not.
No.
But they're there.
Yeah. And then back in reality, Teddy begins to speak to Dr. Nearing in German because he realizes that he is German by the way that he spoke.
Yeah.
By the way he pronounced things or something like that. I don't know. He said it in German, so I don't know.
Yeah. So basically, it's Nearing is saying all these things about Teddy and like about the war and whatever and how violent of a man he can be, whatever. And so basically it's Teddy being like, oh, you gonna make assumptions about me, I'm gonna make assumptions about you. So basically, like, Wright speaks out terrible German, by the way. I was very insulted. When he started speaking at the beginning, the only reason why I recognized it was German was his Ich.
The Ich.
The Ich, yeah. And I'm like, bruh, it does not even sound like you're speaking German. I've sang in German and practiced German for years.
No sprechen Sie Deutsch.
Yes.
No.
And I'm like, bruh, your pronunciation is so terrible. But like, it's supposed to be this really like, you know me, I know you kind of moment.
Yeah, I see you, you see me.
Yeah.
We see each other.
We see each other.
But yeah, he pretty much like says that he was a Nazi, and he's like, excuse me, sir. He was like, I came here legally. What are you talking about, sir?
Right,
Calm down.
Right. He's like, you want to see my papers? I am legal.
Teddy then demands the personnel files, and when he's told no, says that he will file his reports and then leave the facility in the morning and someone else will take over, and then he storms out.
Very rash decision.
Yeah. He's like, oh, fuck this. I I'm not dealing with this.
Literally like what, 3 like roadblocks into this investigation, and he's like, I'm done.
Right, I'm done.
He's got a very short fuse.
That's very on brand for American detectives and
I can see
stuff
that.
like
Yeah.
that.
Things
Very on
don't go
brand.
your way in like 24 hours and they're like, I'm done.
I'm
Too
done,
much
or
work.
I'm going to blame someone.
Hmm.
Like that's how it goes.
I'm gonna say there's too much paperwork, or we tried every avenue, but nothing seems to be coming up. And it's like,
Yeah.
uh-huh, sure.
We're just gonna declare her dead.
Yeah.
Uh and so that night, Teddy tells Chuck that he doesn't trust anyone there and believes there is a conspiracy happening. When Teddy goes to sleep, he has a dream about his wife comforting him. Not comforting him, confronting. I cannot read. Confronting him about his drinking. And she tells him that Rachel is still there before she walks to a window overlooking a lake.
Mhm.
When he hugs her, she begins to start soaking. It was weird.
Yeah,
I don't know how to explain it. Like she was soaking wet and
yeah,
then her stomach started like bleeding. It was weird.
yeah. So in this whole flashback, like that he he told us in the beginning that his wife died in a fire. So like the back of her is like charred,
Yeah, and there's like
and then
ash
and then
flying in
when
the
he
air.
goes to hold her, the front of her dress is just wet. It's not blood or anything.
It's water.
It's water.
And then blood starts coming
Yeah,
out.
and then yeah, it's very strange.
Yeah. Um and so yeah, like I said before, then ash starts to fill the room and then the room sets on fire and then she turns into ashes and like flies away. You know, probably
Yeah.
because she died in a fire.
Yeah.
Uh and then he wakes up and he's being dripped on by a leak in the ceiling,
Yeah.
which makes you be like, oh, that's where all that
That's
water
where
was
all the water
coming
came
from.
from.
Yeah. Teddy then goes to Dr. Colley and asks to interview the patients that were in Rachel's therapy session.
Hmm.
Teddy starts by interviewing Peter Breen. I thought it was Green. Thank goodness I had subtitles
Yeah.
on. It was Breen with a B.
Yeah.
Uh, he's a patient who assaulted his father's nurse with broken glass and permanently disfigured her. Wow. Awful.
Awful.
Um, he thinks that Rachel should be killed along with anyone else who isn't white or mentally sound, which is very ironic because he is not
Hmm.
mentally sound.
Yes.
He said the R word, you know,
Yes. Yeah.
but he meant mentally unsound people.
Yeah.
Um, he also said the N word, which
Yes. Yes. Canceled that on that account already.
canceled. What happens next? He deserts.
Hmm.
Teddy then starts scribbling with his pencil because he's annoyed by Peter, and he knows that it will annoy Peter. And then after Peter gets annoyed, he asks Peter if he knows a patient named Andrew Latis. Before a very upset Peter is like dragged away.
Yeah.
Also, did you notice that Peter looks like Sheldon from Big Bang Theory? It's all I could see.
Oh my
I thought it was him
gosh.
at first, and I was like, wait, no, that's not him. I was like, but he looks like Sheldon.
Yeah, they're kind of similar, aren't they?
I feel like if Sheldon was alive in 1950, he would
That's
be
what
on
he would look like.
he would be on Ashcliff.
I could, you know what, I could see that.
They were like, "Oh, you're very smart, but you have
Yeah.
autism.
Yeah.
You need to go."
Yeah. They'd either be scared of you because you're too smart, and so they'd leave you alone, or they'd be like, he's a threat to society.
Yeah,
He knows too
he
much.
knows too much.
Head is too big.
What do you mean you don't believe in God? Straight to Ashcliff. uh, Teddy then interviews a woman named Mrs. Kearns, who seems normal.
Yeah,
At,
she's the one we were talking about earlier that
yeah,
like accepts that she should be here.
yeah, she seems normal at first, but she actually killed her husband with an axe. But honestly, after she explained why, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, literally the whole time she was talking after that, all I heard in my head was he had it coming.
Right? I was like, maybe not in that way,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'm okay that he died.
Yeah. He deserves something.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
she explains that he was abusive and
Yes.
constantly cheated on her.
Yeah. So.
And like in 1950, or it was probably earlier than that.
Yeah, probably earlier than
It was
that.
probably like, let's say the 30s. Let's say it happened in the 30s. What other options did she have?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Because, like, at that point, it's one of those, like, you know, people will be like, oh, yeah, just divorce your husband. Yeah, sure.
And then she would get nothing and
Yeah.
then be
She'd
left.
be out on the street. She'd be poor. Or it'd be the whole, yeah, my wife's crazy. She just wants to be rid of me. Ha, ha, ha.
Yeah, he probably would have thrown her into a mental institution
Yeah.
anyway.
Anyway.
So yeah, she did what she had to do, and
Yeah.
I'm
I
not mad
respect
at
that.
it. I respect it. And so when asked about Rachel, she says that, you know, the normal stuff. She believed her kids are alive
Mm-hmm.
and that everyone else were like her neighbors. And that during their session, Dr. Sheehan talked about anger.
Mm-hmm.
And then Teddy asks if Dr. Sheehan ever tried to do anything to any of them, and she gets all nervous. She's like, "No, of course not." And then she asks Chuck to go get her a glass of water.
Mm-hmm.
And while he's gone, she writes a note and gives it to Teddy.
Yes.
The last question Teddy asks is, "Who is Andrew Latis?" She then gets up and leaves. She's
Yeah.
like, "I'm not dealing with this."
Yeah. Nobody wants to talk about Andrew Latis.
Yeah. She was like, gotta go.
Yeah. She's like, I will answer anything but that question right now.
Anything but that question. Nobody wants to answer that question. After the interviews, Chuck asks, "Who is Andrew Latis?" He's like, "Why do you keep asking these people who Andrew Latis is?"
Mm-hmm.
And Teddy explains that he requested this case because Latis was a mechanic in the apartment building he lived in.
Mm-hmm.
I think mechanic is what they call maintenance men.
Yeah.
Don't know.
I literally just took it as maintenance.
Yeah. And he purposely set the fire that killed his wife, and he got away with it.
Yeah.
And then he says that a year later, Teddy saw in the paper that Latis, now with a huge scar on his face, different colored eyes, looking all kind of crazy,
Yeah.
burnt down a schoolhouse and killed 2 people. And then he was sent to Ashcliff.
Yeah.
But when he went to go search about him, all of his records were gone.
Mm-hmm. He thinks he's the 67th patient.
Yes.
The one no one wants to talk about.
Yes. Because at present, there are 66
Yes.
patients.
Yeah.
But Teddy does not know that yet.
Not yet. Sorry. Yeah.
We'll get to it.
We'll get there.
The 2 of them then go to a graveyard to see if Latis is buried there.
Mm-hmm.
Even though if they were trying to hide someone, why would they put their name in the
on
graveyard?
Yeah. You just put someone else's or just unmarked grave.
Yeah. Just have like a giant unmarked grave and just throw all the people who you're trying to hide. But whatever.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you could just burn the bodies too. No evidence. Just cremate them.
Or just throw them in the sea.
I feel like if you throw them in the sea, though, they're bound to come back. I feel like that's burned so many people in movies that like the whole time thing.
It's fine if they come back to their island. They'll just go further and throw it in more. It's fine. The 2 then go to what would it be called? A crypt? Mausoleum?
I think it's mausoleum. I think they still call it mausoleums.
Mausoleum. Because a storm is coming.
Mm-hmm.
But right before that, Chuck is like, "I know she gave you something."
Yeah.
What did she say to you? And then Teddy's like, "She didn't say anything, but she wrote it." And then he shows the note and it just says, "Run."
Run.
Ooh, spooky. So while inside the mausoleum, the 2 talk more about Latis. And Teddy tells Chuck about how he and his fellow soldiers helped liberate a concentration camp. And then we see all of the past flashbacks come into one cohesive flashback.
Yeah. Things start to make sense now.
Yeah, so things start to make sense.
Just this part, though.
So we see the people at the gates, the frozen bodies, the dying Nazi soldier who turns out to be a lieutenant.
Yes.
He then explains that the guards at the camp surrendered. And instead of taking them in, as you should.
You should have, yeah.
He and his fellow soldiers committed a war crime and killed all of them.
Yeah. So one of the Nazi soldiers tries to get away, and one of the soldiers shoots them, but then it triggers Teddy and the rest of the soldiers to start shooting everybody.
Yeah, they just shoot them for no reason. The rest of them were going willingly, and they just killed them all.
I don't know if Teddy thought they were shooting at them or what, but he took shots. He just anyway, I just started shooting.
Yeah, he was like, yeah.
Yeah. And, war crimes.
War crimes. He then explains that he wants to find Latest, not to kill him.
Not to kill him.
But because he believes Ashcliffe is experimenting on people because he knows of a college student that after participating in a psych study went insane and was sent to Ashcliffe to Ward C for a year.
Yeah.
He was released.
He stabbed somebody. Or was that?
I know when he gets released, he stabs 3 people. I don't really remember what happened the first time.
Yeah, me neither. They just said that he was sent there.
Yeah. Because he started seeing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, he's eventually released a year after his first time. How? Who knows?
Yeah. When no one is reported to ever leave.
Yeah. He gets released and then immediately goes to a bar and stabs 3 men.
Yes.
How did he get released?
Yeah, if he was that unstable to just walk into a bar and unprovoked stab 3 people.
Yeah.
Come on.
Do they not do an exit, psych evaluation?
Check-up or something? Yeah.
They're just well, you've been here for a year. You've been pretty quiet. You can go.
Yeah. And if this place doubles as a prison, and if the only way you get out of prison is to do one of those interviews that proves you're okay to go back to society, why not do it here? Especially here.
Yeah. Who knows? Well, he ends up back.
Yes. Either way,
yeah.
He's back.
And so during his trial for, the murder of 3 people, he begs not to be sent back to Ashcliffe. So I guess it worked because instead he was sentenced to life in prison at a different prison, an actual prison.
Yes.
And that's where Eddie met. Eddie. Whoa, his name is Teddy. Why did I write Eddie? Oh no, I think someone called him Eddie.
Oh really?
I think Chuck called him Eddie. Okay, yeah. And so that's where Teddy met him, and that's where he learned about the experiments that were going on. And so Teddy wants to find answers and to expose the facility. Chuck then comes to the realization that they wanted him there because he was looking into them, so they started looking into him.
Yeah.
Teddy then promises Chuck that they will get off of this island before the deputy warden, McPherson, comes by and picks them up. After cleaning up, Chuck and Teddy walk into the conference room where Dr. Colley, Dr. Nearing, and some other board members are discussing whether or not to restrain the Ward C patients to the floor.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
Dr. Colley is like, if it floods, they will die.
Yeah.
And they're still sitting there contemplating it. They're like, well,
Dr. Nearing and all the others are like, so?
So?
And he's
Dr.
like,
Dr.
And
Colley's
he's
like,
literally
those
like,
are 24 people.
yeah. He's like, you're like this, you know, this place gets storms.
Yeah.
And we know one day it's going to flood. So you're just sentencing 24 people to death. And then
Yes.
Nearing is literally just like, if I could, I'd have all of these patients like secured to the floor.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's not helping
Yeah,
the
that's
situation.
yeah. Like that was not the answer we were looking for.
Not at all.
Like, so you're not you're if you could get your way, you'd kill all of these patients, is what you're
Yeah.
saying.
You're like, I just want these people dead. I'm like, oh, sir, your Nazi is showing.
Mm,
Your Nazi is showing.
right. You're not shoving them into gas chambers, you're just chaining them to the floor
And letting them drown
and
to
letting
death.
them drown, which is a terrible way to die.
And Dr. Colley brings up the fact that they have a backup generator.
Yeah, he's like, well, we have a plan B.
Yeah.
And like Nearing is like, no, we're going straight to C.
Right.
We're gonna just bypass that middle and just
Actually,
go
it's
straight.
not
to C.
even C. This
It's
is
not
plan
even
F.
C. Yeah, it's way down the line. It shouldn't even be on the list, but it's there anyway.
Yeah. And so, yeah. And then Teddy interrupts them and brings up how Rachel, who wrote the Who is 67 note,
Mhm.
is implying that there is a missing patient because there are 24 Ward C patients and 42 A and B patients.
Mhm.
So that's 66. And so he's like, is there a 67th patient?
Mhm.
Dr. Colley's like, no.
Also, he brings up the rule of 4 in
Yeah.
this scene, and we never get an
We
explanation.
never get an explanation about, I'm just going to tell you that right now.
Right
We
now.
never find out what the rule of 4 is.
Like they give us an answer, but they
Did
just
they?
well, they give us an answer. I'm not accepting the answer, but they give an answer.
Okay, you're going to have to tell me when we get to that part because I
Okay,
literally
yeah.
don't remember.
Yeah. Okay.
And then so Dr. Colley is like, yeah, that's not true.
Mhm.
And then he's like, oh, but I have some good news. We found Rachel.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, by the way, just gonna mention that the
Yeah.
patient that we've been missing, she's been found. She was found like hours ago, but we're
Hours
just gonna
ago.
tell you now.
Yeah. We then cut to Rachel's cell, and there isn't a single scratch on her body, and she has supposedly been running around for 2 days with no shoes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She doesn't look anywhere for where there was a huge storm that came through.
She's just wet.
Yeah, she's just wet.
There's like no dirt on her, no scratches,
Mm-hmm.
no nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And then so when Teddy starts questioning her, she tells him that she was with her family.
Mm-hmm.
And after taking her kids to school, she went for a swim in the lake. They are on an island.
They're on an island.
There's no lake. She then starts acting as if Teddy is her husband and starts hugging him and crying before like a light switch gets upset and starts stating that he is not her husband. Her husband is dead.
Uh-huh. Yeah, because he like went with it.
Yeah.
Because you know, they told Calling told them to like disturb her reality.
Yeah.
Because it could set her off. So I'm sure at that moment he's probably just like, sure, I'm your husband.
I'm your husband.
Yes.
Let's go to bed.
Let's go to bed, honey. It's been a long day.
But yeah, she just immediately goes crazy.
Yeah.
And then gets pulled away. Dr. Colley later explains that they found her by the lighthouse, and Teddy begins having migraines again and is taken to the basement to sleep while a hurricane looms ahead.
Yeah. It was at this point because Colley gives him some medication. It was at this point that I'm all like, what are these pills and why are you so trusting?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I think at this point he like tried to like say no.
Yeah.
But then he just like pushed a little bit more. He was like, okay, just throw it in my mouth. I don't care.
Yeah. It got so bad that he's just like, yeah, I'm going to take something. Because as a person who gets migraines, pretty severe migraines, like at some point you kind of just want to rip your head off. It just gets that bad. You just want to sit in a dark room and just like not for a moment.
And then so before he falls asleep, Teddy notices the warden. And then he has a dream where he's walking around the concentration camp and sees that frozen little girl from before and Rachel on the ground. And then they both thaw out. The little girl says that he should have saved her. And then we cut to Teddy and he's walking in Dr. Colley's house. Still a dream. We're still in a dream.
We're still in a dream.
We're still in a dream. And he comes across Lattice, who looks like a mix between like Elliot Stabler and Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
It's bad. Like every time I had to look at his face, I was like, please, can we cut away? Please, can we cut away?
It wasn't the greatest to look at.
No, not at all. It was frightening. Lattice then offers Teddy a drink before turning into Chuck.
Yes.
We hear a random scream, and then a blood-soaked Rachel asks Teddy for a hand with 3 dead children at her feet, including the frozen little girl. It was getting wild. This is a wild dream.
Very wild.
Teddy then picks up the little girl before she asks why he didn't save her. Again. They then go to a lake where the other 2 children are laying face down. And then he just puts the girl into the lake and then she slowly drowns into the water. And then he wakes up. Yeah. Weird dream. Weird dream. But we're actually not even done.
We're not.
The door opens and Teddy's wife, Dolores, walks in. And after asking her why she's all wet, she's just like, Lattice is still here. You need to find him. Yeah. And then you need to kill him. Teddy's like, whoa, I did not come here to kill anyone. Yeah.
His vision of Dolores just gets progressively more violent.
Yeah, progressively more violent. She gets more unhinged the longer this movie goes on.
Yes.
And then Teddy finally actually wakes up the next morning to the staff panicking because the backup generator failed and there are prisoners just running around the island. Yes. Oh, I'm so sorry. Patience. Whatever. Teddy and Chuck then use that chaos and the fact that they're wearing orderly uniforms to sneak into Ward C. Inside Ward C, Teddy chases a patient after the patient tries to choke him. He beats the patient, but is stopped by Chuck, luckily. Yeah. If Chuck had come like 5 seconds... He was about to
kill him.
Yeah, he would have killed that man. And then a guard comes in, helps Chuck take the patient to the infirmary, and Teddy goes on to look for Lattice. Okay, so...
Why Chuck didn't, like, force him out of there?
Yeah, I would have been like, oh no, we need to leave. Like, you no.
Yeah, because if Teddy's gonna act like this and that's just one patient, bro.
Right. So during this looking for Lattice scene, I was accosted by the image of another man's penis. I need reparations. I saw another man's penis for no reason. Yeah. Absolutely no reason.
Unsolicited dick pic.
Yes. There was no reason to put that in there.
There really wasn't. It didn't add anything.
It did not add anything.
I could have lived without it.
Were they trying to really emphasize that these people were crazy, so crazy that they don't wear clothes? Because like you didn't need to do that. You could have showed a butt cheek. Like I would have been fine with that. Did not need to see a penis.
And you already stated that this is the ward where the most dangerous patients are. So
yeah, I believe you.
We believe you.
I believe you. You don't need to show me that.
Nobody questioned the,
Yeah.
validity of that statement.
Not at all. Also, I feel so sorry for that poor extra. Imagine being the one extra that has to show their penis. Do you get paid extra for that?
Right. Right. They're just like, bro. So random. You're the one that's that has to show your penis on camera today.
It's only for like a second, but like
Yeah.
you will be showing it.
Yeah. All the other guys said no, so
Yeah,
you're it.
you're it. Here's an extra $10.
Right. $10. No. It's we'll get you free lunch today.
Yeah, even though every set already has free lunch. You can eat with the actual cast. You can have the good food.
Yeah, it's one of those desperate actors trying to make their way in the world, and so they're just gonna say yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's no
I am
reason to
sorry.
ever show your penis on camera. I'm so sorry. Unless you're in porn, and then that's like your own thing.
That's literally your job. So
That's your job.
I'm not questioning that.
If you are an actor in mainstream movies and television, you do not need to show your penis for any reason. If someone asks you that, you're probably on a porn set. So just clear that up.
Necessary.
It's not necessary.
And if they do ask, make sure to check where you are.
Yeah.
Ask your manager what they booked for you for.
Be like, what's the name of this movie again?
Right.
3 prisoners and a woman? What? No.
Yeah. If it's a play on the title of the movie you're actually supposed to be in, that's the porno.
Yeah. Maybe, yeah. Always ask the name before.
Yeah. And if there's any numbers in it, how many people will be in it, just get out. That's not what you signed up for. Get out.
If you read the script and it says 3 naked men in a cell, maybe it's a porn. So maybe you should talk to someone first.
Yeah, just get some clarity.
Some clarity.
We love open communication.
Just ask, what studio is this being produced by?
Right.
And then if it's not Paramount, Disney, 20th Century Fox, any of those.
Yeah. And if it's not an indie film.
Yeah. Here, let's go with this. If it sounds like a porn studio, it's probably a porn studio. So you should probably leave.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Let's get back into the story.
Yes.
Teddy then runs into a man. The man who told him about Ashcliff, George. And he tells him that he's back on the island because of him. And that he's going to be taken to the lighthouse and be given a lobotomy. He then tells him that he needs to let Dolores go because she will get him killed, which he's not wrong.
He isn't.
He then needs to go discover the truth and leave the island.
Yeah, because he says this whole investigation is a giant game.
Yeah.
Because Teddy has stuck his nose where it's not supposed to be.
Exactly.
So.
And then Teddy asks George, where is Latest? And George freaks out and he's like, he was transferred out of here.
Yeah. Which,
if he's not here and he's not in the other wards, he is in the lighthouse.
Yes.
Teddy catches up with Chuck, who just so happened to find Latest's intake form. And so, after speaking to George, Teddy no longer trusts Chuck.
Yeah.
And so when Teddy is like, here, read it, Chuck is, whoa. When Chuck is like, here, read it, Teddy's like, no, I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like, I'll read it later.
I'll read it later. I'm good.
It's fine.
Teddy then tells Chuck that he needs to go to the lighthouse alone and then climbs down the side of a cliff.
Yeah.
And then he sees that the lighthouse is on its own miniature island. And so there's no way for him to get to it. When Teddy comes back, he finds that Chuck is gone. and then sees what he believes is Chuck's body on the rocks below. And so he climbs down to go like check on him.
Mm-hmm.
And then he also finds Latus's intake form, like just flying in the wind.
Yeah.
And he somehow catches it.
Yeah. And he never looks at.
Never looks at it. He just throws it in his pocket. Like, okay.
All right.
And then he gets down to the bottom. And then what he thought was a body was just seaweed. And the outline of a body. Like, it made no sense to me.
So when he gets down to the water to where Chuck is supposed to be, there is I don't want to say an outline, but like an impression.
Yeah.
A really light impression on a rock that looks like a body.
Yeah.
And it's very strange.
Yeah, but it's not a body.
But it's not a body. But it's,
like, was it someone's body beforehand?
Yeah, because that rock definitely has an impression of a body on it.
Yeah.
It's like you can't mistake the shape.
Yeah, the shape was definitely body.
It's definitely body. So someone was there.
Someone had fallen off of that cliff before. And then while he's down there, he notices a fire inside of a cave and climbs to the cave, believing that Chuck is inside, which makes no sense. But okay. But when he walks inside, he finds a woman. And she tells him that her name is Dr. Rachel Solando. Ooh.
Intrigue.
She explains that she worked at Ashcliff, and after she started questioning what was happening at the facility, because they were getting large shipments of psychotic drugs and were performing a lot of lobotomies.
Yes.
She got ruled out as being a crazy person.
Yeah. And like the way that she explains how it all went down, it's what you would expect. It's what Jordan wanted to do to me to convince me that I had amnesia or whatever.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that.
That's the whole when she was describing how she was admitted to the hospital. I'm just like, this is basically what Jordan wants to do.
Oh.
So it's basically the whole like someone calls you crazy, and then whenever you say you're not crazy, it's denial and blah 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 blah, and everything is just used against you. And that's how she got admitted.
Yeah, she says that once you have been declared crazy, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
Which is very true and very scary.
Yeah, it's very scary because they do the whole like denial if you're not.
Yeah, if you say you're not crazy, it makes you look even more crazy.
Yeah, and then if you try to bring up evidence, then they're like, "Oh, you're hallucinating."
Yeah.
And then if you fight back, you're fighting back. It's not a defense mechanism anymore. You're actually wanting to commit violence on somebody.
Yeah.
So it just nails the coffin.
Very scary stuff. She then tells him that they're doing surgeries to create soldiers, which they call ghosts, that feel no pain and have no memories.
Yeah.
She tells him that they will use his past traumas to explain why they will eventually commit him, which is frightening because everyone has past traumas.
Yes.
She then asks if he's been having any headaches or weird dreams, and when he says yes, she tells him that they have probably been drugging him with the aspirin, quote unquote, that he's been taking, the food they've been serving him, and even the coffee.
Yeah. She's all like, have you taken anything from anybody? And he's like, taking some pills. And she's like, bruh, that's like rule number 1. You don't do that. You don't do
She was like, you don't take pills from strangers, sir.
Right. And they don't tell you what they are. Don't do that.
And then she was like, have you at least been smoking your own cigarettes? And he said, no.
That's literally his face the whole time.
He was like, no, I got some from my partner, and then I got some from an orderly.
Right. And then the whole question that like George brought up is like, have you ever worked with Chuck before?
Yeah.
It's so
starts
like
looming in the back of his head.
Yeah. And then, his whole cigarettes going missing at the beginning of the movie, and you're like, oh my gosh, they've been lacing him with something.
Yes. And then he gets to the question we've all been wondering. What happens in the lighthouse? She tells him that they do brain surgeries so that they can make their ghost. And when he's like, okay, who on the island knows about it? She's like, everyone. Everyone on the island knows about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And at that moment, it makes so much sense because the people that are looking for Rachel, they're not really looking.
No.
When he questions
no
all the
one,
nurses.
no one's answering questions.
Yeah. And the orderlies, they laugh at him and they're like, oh, yeah, we were doing this, this, and this. And they're like, oh, what's a normal day? I work in a psychiatric hospital. There's nothing normal here. It's like, bruh. You're just being petty at this point. Just answer the damn question.
Oh, it's a mess. The next morning, Rachel wakes him up and tells him that he needs to leave because they believe she is dead. And if they come looking for him, they might find her. And so he's like, okay, but I'm going to come back for you.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, you're not leaving because they run the ferry. It's the only way off the island. Like, you're stuck here just as badly as I am.
Yeah, she's all like, I love your optimism, but
yeah,
it's not happening.
It's not happening. We're both stuck here forever.
Right.
Teddy returns to the facility to find Chuck, but Dr. Colley tells him that he arrived on this island alone.
Yeah, this is, if you ever want to know, if you don't know what gaslighting is, this is it.
And he's so calm about it. He's like, what are you talking about?
I loved the scene.
He was like, you came alone.
Yeah.
And Teddy's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Right. And he's like, I have a partner here. His name is Chuck.
He gave Mrs. Creans a glass of water. Like, what's going on here?
Like, he was definitely here.
He was definitely here. And so Teddy goes looking for Chuck and runs into Dr. Naring, who tries to sedate him. But Teddy sees this coming and ends up sedating him. Before he runs outside, and then he blows up Dr. Colley's car as a distraction. Meanwhile, while he's doing this, while he's like setting up the car to be detonated, Dolores is in the background telling him he needs to go to the ferry and get off the island.
Yeah, which
honestly should have.
I think that's the only point in the movie where Dolores is actually giving good advice.
Dolores was stating facts. She was like, yeah, you need to leave.
Yeah, she's like, this is the point in time where you have just gone too far.
Yeah.
Time to go.
And then right before the car explodes, the mysterious little girl walks up to Dolores and they hold hands. It's weird. And then while the guards are distracted, Teddy climbs a broken piece of wall and he makes his way towards the edge of the island and swims over to the lighthouse. He disarms a guard, takes his gun, and then sneaks inside. And then when he makes it to the top, he finds Dr. Colley, who knows of everything he's been through, everything that's been going on, including his tremors and hallucinations. He's like, how's your tremors going?
Yeah.
You still having hallucinations?
Yeah.
What about your dreams?
Yeah. Basically just points out everything that has been happening to Teddy since he stepped on this island.
Yes. And then Dr. Colley explains that his shakes are from withdrawals from his antipsychotics.
It's not from his belief of them drugging him.
Yeah. And that he has been a patient on the island for 2 years. He then tells him that Edward Daniels and Rachel Solando are anagrams for he and his wife.
Yeah.
Whose real names are Andrew Ladis and Dolores Chanel.
I think it's Chanel.
Cool.
Yeah.
And that he is the missing 67th patient of Ashcliffe. Yeah. Dr. Colley says that he is the most dangerous patient they've ever had at the facility. And that 2 weeks prior to all of this happening, he had beaten George because he called him Ladis.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what George meant when he said, you did this to me.
Yeah. And the whole I forgot what I was gonna say, but basically the whole thing that's been happening right now is they're doing.
Yes.
Like how George said that this was all a game. It was all a game.
It was all
But
a
not
game.
the way that Teddy was thinking.
No. George just couldn't convey it properly.
Yeah. Yeah. So it wasn't the government or whatever, the hospital trying to shut him down. It was not shut him down like his investigation. They were just talking about him personally.
Yeah, we'll explain it some more. It's
Yeah,
a
we
little
will.
confusing right now, but we'll explain it.
Yeah.
Dr. Colley has set up this entire role play situation
Mm-hmm.
to try to snap Teddy back into reality.
Mm-hmm.
Because if not, the board wants to undergo a lobotomy.
Yeah, this was their last resort.
Yes.
This was their last plan of attack to be like, hey, I can make this man better.
Yes, Teddy is not clicking with reality. So they're like, we made this whole situation so that you could come to terms with what was really happening. So you could solve this mystery and then it would snap you back into reality.
Yeah, because he still is convinced that he is a U.S. Marshal. So they were playing into his fantasy, but also placing seeds in his mind, seeds of doubt that we think is doubt, to make him realize what's actually going on here.
It's why he keeps getting triggered by everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're purposefully doing this.
Right. And the headaches and the nightmares. That's him trying to deal with everything.
Yeah. So Teddy doesn't believe him.
Obviously.
And he's like, okay, you could try to say I'm crazy, but you can't make Chuck just disappear. Like he's a U.S. Marshal. People will care where he is.
Mm-hmm.
Right before Chuck walks in and he tells them, hi, I'm Dr. Sheehan.
Yep. And that he's his primary doctor.
Yes. And so the two of them try to reason with Teddy, but he declares that he is Edward Daniels and then picks up a gun, points it at them, and shoots Colley, but the gun is fake. And so he has like a hallucination of him shooting him.
Yeah, so he shoots and it goes right through Colley, but we see blood on the board behind him.
Yes.
And then they tell him that the gun is fake. And then the camera looks back at Colley and he's fine. There's no blood on the board behind him. The gun is plastic.
Yeah, it's plastic. Like he literally breaks it.
He breaks it in half, yeah.
Dr. Sheehan then tells him that Dolores was insane and Teddy ignored it with his drinking.
Yeah.
And that they moved to the lake house after she burnt down their apartment.
Yeah.
So that whole her dying in a fire thing did not happen.
Yeah.
She was the one who set the fire.
Yeah, she was a manic depressive and she wanted to commit suicide, so she burned down their apartment hoping to die in it, but she didn't.
And so Dr. Colley then shows Teddy pictures of his dead children, Simon, Henry, and the little girl that he always dreams about. Her name is Rachel. Teddy then looks at the pictures while Dolores is in the background apologizing and telling him that he never should have came to the lighthouse.
Yeah.
She's like, you should have just left. You should have listened to me. You never should have came here. We then have a flashback of Andrew coming home and seeing that Dolores is all wet. And he's like, why are you all wet? And where are the kids? She says that they're at school, but when he reminds her that it's Saturday, he notices that the three of them are laying face down in the lake. In the
water.
Because Dolores drowned them.
Yeah, she's like, my school is always open.
Yes.
And then the camera goes to the lake and you can see at least two of the bodies floating.
Yes.
In the water.
And so he goes, tries to save them. It's way too late. And he is so full of heartache and anger that after dragging their bodies out of the lake, he seemingly has a mental breakdown because Dolores suggests that they be their living dolls.
Yeah. Yeah, she what they said that the original Rachel Solando did, like having her kids at the dinner table, that's what his
wanted.
wife wanted to do.
Yes.
Put the kids, clean them up, change them, put them at the dinner table, and then she's like, we'll take them for a picnic tomorrow.
Yeah. Bonkers.
Yeah.
And so this completely sets him off. And so he shoots her. And
Yeah.
that is what brings the soaking wet Dolores, quote
Yeah,
unquote,
from the beginning.
with, water
Mm-hmm.
dripping and then the
Yeah.
blood dripping on her stomach.
Yeah. She also says in the like right before he kills her that
Set
like,
me free.
set me free, let me
Yes.
go. Let me go.
She's like, please kill me. She's like,
Yeah.
I know I'm crazy, but I can't do
Yeah.
anything about this.
Yeah.
Andrew then passes out and he wakes up to the woman who was pretending to be Rachel attending to him.
Mm-hmm.
And can I say, an actress. she pulled off crazy
Yes.
well.
Yes, she did. A little too well.
A little too well. Where's her Oscar? And then he finally comes to terms with what happened. He faces the reality that he ignored his wife's mental illness,
Mm-hmm.
and that he made up a fake life to cope with the fact that his children are dead because of this.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dr. Colley is happy, but hopes that Andrew won't regress back into his fantasy like he had a couple of months ago when he had a breakthrough.
Mm-hmm.
But he seems with it. He seems okay.
Yeah.
And then sometime later, Dr. Sheehan is speaking with Andrew, and Andrew calls him Chuck.
Yeah.
And speaks about going back to the mainland. So Andrew has obviously regressed.
Mm-hmm.
And Dr. Colley has orderlies go to get him so that he can have his lobotomy. They're like,
Yeah.
well, there's nothing else we can do.
Yeah.
But before being taken away, Andrew asked Sheehan what would be worse, to live as a monster or to die as a good man. And so while he's being taken away, Sheehan refers to Andrew as Teddy, but he doesn't respond and is taken to go get his lobotomy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the end of the movie.
That's
The
the
actual end of the movie is like a shot of the lighthouse with very loud music of violins.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So we know exactly what's going on because they show the needle that they're going to use to lobotomize him.
Yes.
And then we already know what happens at the lighthouse.
Yeah.
So.
Poor Andrew.
Yeah, poor Andrew.
Poor
Teddy.
Andrew, Teddy. Are you ready for the movie facts?
I'm ready for the movie facts.
Okay. So this movie really loves anagrams because the title of this movie is an anagram.
Oh, great. For what?
For truth and lies. And there's actually another anagram, also truth/denials.
Oh.
So movie loves anagrams.
Oh yeah, wait. We said we talk about the rule of 4.
Oh yeah,
and
please
their
tell
answer.
me, because I don't know.
So when they reveal that Teddy is actually Andrew Latis, and that Rachel Solando is an anagram for Dolores.
Mm-hmm.
They say that is his rule of 4.
What does that mean?
I don't know, but he shows him the names and he's all like, these are the anagrams and this is your rule of 4. So it's not the hospital's term. It's I guess Andrew's term for
rule
something.
Of 4 for so the 4 names?
I guess.
Okay.
Or the two their names combined, that's 4. But
okay.
Either way, they're like, this is your rule of 4. It's these names or anagrams for blah, blah, blah. And like, that's their answer. And
that's a very bad answer.
Yeah, like you gave an answer and you didn't explain it. And you just, you kind of just threw something at the wall and you kind of hope it stuck.
It did not, because I didn't even know.
It really didn't. Yeah.
Okay. Back to the movie facts. Movie fact number 2. This movie is based on the 2003 book Shutter Island by Dennis Lehane.
Yeah, I saw that.
I will read this book. I'm going to buy it.
Yeah.
I hope it goes more in depth.
Same, because I feel like this movie was pretty good, but there's a lot of things that they also didn't answer.
Yes. Like that deputy warden guy seemed crazy.
Yeah.
Also, I think he was who Teddy thought Latest was, because he looked like the latest guy in his like
Yeah.
dream.
Yeah, just minus the scar and the different colored
They
eyes.
never explained that.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that go unexplained.
Yes. So maybe a sequel, a prequel, something. So through most of the storyline, it is cloudy and the rain turns heavier as the story gets deeper. The sun only comes out in the final scenes. And this is a reference to Freud, who described the subconscious as a confusing, cloudy weather in opposition to the clear skies of consciousness.
Oh, wow.
So yay, psychology.
Yay, psychology. Also, why do we still listen to Freud?
The guy who like wanted people to sleep with their mothers? I don't know.
Yeah.
Why
is he still a standard?
Please, I know there's some people out there that can do better. I can do better than Freud.
Yeah.
But yeah, the traumatic killing of the Nazi guards of Dausch, is that how they pronounce it?
Yeah.
The concentration camp. It's an actual historic event.
Yeah, it is.
It took place on April 29th, 1945.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Makes sense. Okay. In 2010, Leonardo DiCaprio starred in both this movie and Inception the same year.
Wow.
And in both films, he played a character who struggled with accepting the death of his wife.
Typecast.
Did not know these movies came out the same year. That's insane.
Yeah, me neither.
And he didn't win an Oscar for any of them. That's ridiculous.
Like, he should have done it for at least Inception. At least.
I feel like he should have got an Oscar for this movie.
Really?
Yeah. I feel like Inception was too convoluted. It was too confusing for absolutely no reason.
Yeah.
But I'll talk about it.
This is a more like palatable.
Yeah, I'll talk about it when we get to Is It Iconic?
Yeah.
Which, by the way, do you think this movie is iconic?
I think so.
I agree.
I think so, because I really like these kind of movies where they state something in the beginning and then they slowly change the narrative on you.
Yes.
And like this whole time you're either rooting for the main character and being like, yeah, I believe you, this whole thing is a government cover up, blah 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 blah, and then they like turn the narrative on you and they're like, oop.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. Because I like the whole because when I read this, because I've never seen this movie before, it said on the wiki page that it was just an investigation on an island with a mental hospital.
Oh my gosh, you've never seen this movie before? I got you to watch this movie.
Yes. Yeah. So I was expecting more of a I don't know, an inspector movie. I don't know. But then when they started saying things about these people are crazy and you should take these pills and blah, blah, blah. And then his hallucinations started getting worse. I'm like, oh, okay. I see what you're doing.
I see what you're doing.
I like what's going on here. I love these kind of movies. Like Knives Out.
I still have not watched Knives Out. It's literally on Amazon Prime. I don't know what's stopping me.
Please watch Knives Out. It's so good.
The ending has been spoiled for me. But
no.
I will. What? Literally anything and everywhere. Like if you go on any amount of social media, the ending is spoiled for you.
Damn, I'm so sorry.
Like I've known who the killer is for like a year. Like it's not shocking to me.
For those of you who haven't watched it yet, please watch it. It's so good.
If you haven't been spoiled, good for you.
If you haven't been spoiled, yeah. Because I had no idea what the movie was about, but I heard it was really good, so I rented it with my family. And my dad's not like a movie person, but he stayed for the whole time, and that's how you know it's an engaging movie.
Maybe I'll watch it this week.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, well, as for me, I think it's iconic. This is actually one of my favorite movies. I love
really?
this. I own this movie. I watched it on Netflix, but like I own this
Yeah.
movie. I believe he should have got an Oscar for this movie. The fact that he didn't is ridiculous. Also, I think this movie deserves all the praise that Inception gets.
Yeah, I can see that.
I actually think this movie is better than Inception. A lot of Inception makes no sense.
Yeah. Like I haven't seen a lot of Inception. I haven't finished the movie. But from what I hear from everybody, it's if you're not paying attention and really watching the movie, you're not going to get it.
Even if you are, I've watched that movie so many
Yeah.
times and I'm still confused to this day. I've seen it like
Yeah.
minimum 5 times.
Yeah. So in this whole like my favorite thing about this movie is the whole how Rachel Solando, the woman that Teddy met in the cave,
Yeah.
was admitted. Like that whole thing, great plot.
Yes.
You're stuck in a mental institution and then someone calls you crazy and then you try to defend yourself and that's just building up more evidence for them to call you crazy and admit you. And it's just this never ending, how do I fight my way out of this? But you can't.
You can't.
And that is so like, because it makes you think like, how could I get out of the situation? Or how could he get himself out of the situation? And I just love it.
I think that's why they've made it harder for you to be institutionalized.
Yeah.
because people, especially women, used to be
oh my gosh, hysterics.
Yeah.
Hysterics would get you.
That used to be a mental illness.
Yeah,
being
hysteria.
Hysterical.
Yeah. If you were passionate about anything more than usual, that was hysterics. And you would be put into a mental institution.
Or if you just annoyed your husband. He was like, she's hysterical.
Yeah. She tells me to do this. And if I ask her to do this, she doesn't. And she's probably lost in her mind or whatever. And, in those times, they'd believe you.
Or we can go back to that movie. Have you seen that movie with Angelina Jolie, The Changeling? I think that's what it's called.
No, but I do know what a changeling is. And
pretty much her son was kidnapped.
Yeah.
And then they brought back a boy, and she was
replaced him.
She was like, that's not my son.
Yeah.
And then which a mother would know.
A mother would know.
And then they were like, no, that's your son. And since you refuse to believe that, we're putting you into a mental institution.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane.
Yeah. And then
stuff like that just happens.
It just happens.
That's
and it's
insane.
Always perpetuated that women have like a weaker mind or whatever. So like anything minorly traumatizing, they're like, oh yeah, she's broken.
Yeah.
We have to put her somewhere. If she's stricken with grief or something for losing a child, they're like, oh, she's crazy.
Yeah.
She's
they would
crazy,
like electrocute depressed. You.
Right. They'll use insane methods of treatment, and it's like, bro.
Yeah, if you're lucky, they'll just electrocute your head. If you're not, they'll take out a piece of your brain and be like, she's fixed.
Yeah. And the way they describe lobotomy in this movie is very accurate.
Yeah, eye pick in the eye, taking out the nerve endings. Yeah.
Yeah. Because they literally take out, basically, I'm going to put it in very simple terms, they take out your inhibition. So you are no longer afraid of anything. You no longer feel like, when you get to the edge of something and you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do it. You don't have that edge anymore. You just think, oh, I can do that. And you'll do anything. And it's like, bro.
Yeah, insanity.
They just lobotomized people back then. Like it was no big deal.
That's why whenever I see those things, like, I wish I could go back. I'm like, no, I would like to go forward.
Yeah. All those people are
multiple reasons, including the fact that I am Black, but you know.
Like anybody who isn't white or male saying they would like to go back in time.
Right. I'm like,
you're looking at a romanticized time. Because if you really look back there, if you went back there now, you would probably be institutionalized. You'd like probably never go out in society because of the way they would treat you. It's like, well, you would not be doing the things you would want to be doing during that time.
It's like, oh, you walk out with crop tops and like booty shorts, or you want to go back to the 1950s,
right?
Like right. Oh, okay,
like you just think the hairstyles are cute and the movies are nice,
right? You can do that now. You can do that now. You can do that hairstyle right now.
Right. We have better hair products, better ways to do it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So I think it's time for recommendations.
yes, it is.
Do you have any recommendations for this week?
Yes, I do. So my first one, I have two.
Okay.
My first one is Corridor Crew / Corridor Digital. It's their channel on YouTube. If you haven't watched them, they're effects artists, like movie effects and stuff like that. They do like reaction videos on their channel. They like make movies like better. They did like a better deep fake for Luke Skywalker. Oh, spoiler if you haven't seen The Mandalorian, but Luke Skywalker shows up in The Mandalorian and they like make his deep fake better. It's amazing.
If you haven't seen it by now, where have you been?
Right. Check them out. Their stuff is always so good. And then my second one is Good Time by Snake City. It's a good bop.
Okay.
Check it out.
I love a good bop.
Oh, wait, one more because I love this song. Kiss Me More by Doja Cat and SZA.
Ooh. I just listened to that for the first time in its entirety yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
Also the music video is good.
I'd only ever heard it on like TikTok, so like it wasn't like the full song.
Yeah. But yeah, that song is so good. Check it out.
Okay. As for me, my first one is Can We Talk by Tevin Campbell. Great song. Everyone listen to it. You'll know it if you hear it. It's a good song.
Okay.
Great song. My second one is Super Smash Bros. Love that game.
Which one?
What?
Which one?
The one on the Switch.
Oh, okay.
Great game.
It's a really good game.
I mean, it's good in general, like in anything you play it on, but like, yeah.
Yeah, like Smash games do not miss. I mean, the story portion is better for the one on the Wii. I don't remember what that one is called. But that story is a lot better than I feel like the one that they use in
I don't have my Wii anymore. My mother gave it away.
Really?
We never used it.
Oh.
And my mom was like cleaning stuff. She was like, I'm getting rid of this. And I was like, well, they don't even sell games for this anymore. So I was like, sure.
Bro, we have every console that we've ever had.
I kept my PlayStation 2 though. I was like, I'm never getting rid of that.
We have the 2, 3, and 4. We have the N64. We have the GameCube. The Wii. We've got DS's. We still play them every once in a while.
I think we just got rid of the Wii because I still have my Xbox. Nyla has her Switch. Somewhere in storage we have an Atari. Don't know where it is.
Wow, good for you.
And then I used to have a GameCube, but I think we either gave it to someone else or we got rid of it. So I'm gonna have to buy a new one because like I want. Actually, I love the GameCube. Actually, I don't even have to because I bought one GameCube game on my Xbox, so I think I could just play all those games on my Xbox.
Yeah, at this point, they've probably remade GameCube games to fit other consoles.
Yeah, because I have like a Sonic game that I play on my Xbox. So yeah.
Ooh, Sonic games are good.
So thank you for listening this week.
Thank you so much.
Don't forget to follow us on our social media. We have a Twitter that Kelly never uses and an Instagram.
I still don't know how it works.
They're both at SYTYI podcast. You need to get into Twitter because you miss the funniest thing.
Well, because bro, I get so irritated sometimes when I'm posting on Twitter, like because on Instagram I can post the whole hashtags, the recommendations for the week, and the description of the video. But for Twitter, I have to put the hashtags and the recommendations into two separate posts.
Oh,
and
no.
Then the description, sometimes I have to rewrite it. I had to rewrite last week. So I'm just like, bro, sometimes I'm like, Twitter, why? They also have a picture limit, which makes me angry. Yes, you can only post 4 pictures at once. So when we have like 2 or 3 recommendations each, like sometimes I have to put them in 2 different posts, and I'm just like, I just want everything to fit in one thing.
Yeah, you really need to get into Twitter because like you're
Yeah.
missing so much. You're missing so much. Like not last week, on Saturday night, you missed Spaces Got Talent. That was hilarious.
What is that?
So two Twitter users, there's this thing called Spaces where like you can like phone in. It's like a microphone type thingy
Uh-huh.
where like hundreds of people can come in and like the like host can like select people. And so for this, the host would select people and have them sing. It was hilarious.
Oh.
Most of the people couldn't sing. And then like some of them could. And then like when they could, like you were like bopping. It was good. It was so funny. It was trending all Saturday night. Like it went on for hours and I listened to
Wow.
all of it.
Okay, go off.
Please get into Twitter. Also, please send us your movie stories.
Yes.
Send us movie requests. Just say hi. I don't care.
Yeah. I want to talk to people.
Yeah. Our email is sytyi podcast@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
Also, share our podcast with your friends and your family.
Yeah.
I saw that Japan is now on the board. Someone in Japan listened, or multiple people from Japan
Japan.
listened. Hi, Japan.
How are you?
Also, don't forget to subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen.
Yeah. There are
Stitcher,
so many platforms.
Podbean, all those places. Don't forget to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts.
Yes,
We love a
please.
good 5-star review.
Yeah.
Also, the panini is coming to an end, hopefully. At least in
Hopefully.
California. At least in California it is. I don't know
Yeah.
about these other states because like Florida is still getting like 7,000 cases a day.
Yeah. In some states they're just like, frick it, we're open anyway.
Yeah. A giant mess.
Yeah. You know,
but-
America.
But even if you are vaccinated, you still have to wear a mask, people.
Yes, please.
Please.
Just because you get it does not mean you're suddenly immune.
Yeah.
You're
There-
just more covered than the rest of the population.
Yeah, and there's like new variants coming out like every day.
Yes.
So, like we're gonna have to get third shots, people. Please.
Or we'll be like those TikToks that you just get every vaccine.
Yeah.
Pfizer, Moderna, even J&J, bro.
Even just to be safe.
Just to be safe, because you never know.
Yeah. So please wear your mask.
Yes, please wash that and your face because germs everywhere.
Yes. Only use your mask once and then wash it.
Wash it.
Get a new mask.
Yeah. Like that's just gross. Even if you like don't wear makeup, your face still produces oils and stuff.
You're
Go wash it.
You're still breathing your like bacteria
Yeah.
out of your mouth onto
Yeah.
your mask. Don't
And
do
then
that.
and then allergies. And if you're out, you're sneezing into your mask.
Yeah.
Even more germs. Wash it, please.
It's not cute. Your face
It's-
will thank you.
Yes, it will.
You won't have mask knee if you wash your
Mm-mm.
mask.
Yeah. And your face. Just do both.
People, please.
Please. I'm begging you.
And like wear sunscreen, please.
Yes. If you want to stay looking snatched forever, sunscreen
Sunscreen. Yeah.
all the time.
So thank you. And
Thank you so much.
Stay iconic.
Stay iconic.
Bye.
Bye.